यहाँ से हर दिन हॉर्लिक्स खत्म रेडी, क्योंकि हॉर्लिक्स प्रमाणित है कंसंट्रेशन बढ़ाने के लिए, ताकि बच्चे बने शार्पर। अब कपड़ों को आधे घंटे क्यों भिगोना? नया घड़ी करे जिंदगी से जिंदगी दाग, जल्दी से जल्दी साफ। सिर्फ 15 रुपए में स्ट्रीट शैम्पू हेयर कलर का छोटा पैक, छोटे बालों के लिए। तो अब हटाओ पुराना हेयर कलरिंग का तरीका, स्विच टू स्ट्रीट शैम्पू हेयर कलर। भैया जल्दी चलाओ, अरे बस आगे चलते हैं। हाँ, हो गया। इनको कोई जीरा दो। और अजवाइन भी। अरे काला नमक भी मिला देना। इससे अच्छा है नया 3 in 1 वाला इनो। इसमें तीन असली जीरा, अजवाइन, काला नमक और इनो की ताकत, जो एसिडिटी से दिल जल रहा है। 3 in 1 वाला इनो, इसमें तीनों।
Let's wait for the next 2 3 minutes, then we'll start.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so let's start the session. Let me share the screen.
Madam, mute yourself.
Okay, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, preschool of environmental science. You already go through all this. What is environmental science? All these details, and because you are MSc student, so just revise this class with about a revision of previous knowledge. Just introductions about environmental science, environmental studies, all the things. So, environmental science we are going to study on the master science subject, that is MSc, which is more details about every aspect of the environmental science. All we have know, this environmental science subject is a multidisciplinary in nature. Everywhere we are going to face the environmental challenges, environmental issues nowadays. So environmental science subject is a common, and it is UGC also has refer as environmental science type subject is introduced in every discipline, whether irrespective of it is law, it is medicine, or it is engineering or anything. So there is a huge potential of this environmental science subject, because as we are environmentalist, we must know everything that we can be able to give awareness to the other peoples and maybe educate other people about environmental science. So first question is, what is environmental science, and what is environment, and what is ecology? These are environment, ecology, these are different terms. So environmental science, that means it is a scientific knowledge about the environment, the study of the interaction of the human and its environment, that is called environmental science. So what is environment? Everything that around us, that is environment, that is either artificial or either man-made, either it is living, either non-living, everything surrounded by humans, and every surrounded things having its own impact to the environment. So to its life of human. So the details about, knowing the details about everything is most necessary as we are environmentalists. So this environment, this is simple slides. Already we know environment is the total our surrounding, that is consisting of both biotic factor, abiotic factors. The biotic factor means living things, abiotic factors means non-living things that contain ocean, cloud, soil, rock, living things are animal, plants, etc. So to build this environment, artificially or some naturally. Our systems that is complete itself. So that is called ecosystems. So environment and ecosystem ecology, these are the some related terms because we are if you are do not know the difference between the ecology environment, that is the main things. So what happens whenever we are talking about some living relationship between some organisms with its surroundings, so we have to know everything in details. So the relationship and the institutions, what is the social relationship institutions? Social relationship is the how this man-made or the or natural things that can be interfere our life. And institutions means what happens the uh, what happened the institutions means in a locality or large area because we are not living in our earth alone. So there are lots of life forms, lots of non-living forms are there. So in a big resources or in a big picture, how they are impact our life, these relationships are also greatly enhanced in our human life behavior. For example, for taking you are taking the for example iron metal or any things that can be metal that can be ores that are mining, and the resources particularly that are called mineral resources, energy resources, all resources which are found in a bulk in environment or in our earth. So that are directly indirectly not related sorry directly related to our impact of the total life expand in our life. So these relationship also very much crucial for our to study. So all the details includes this environmental science subject. So actually the environmental science are, have you heard these three things: environmental science, environmental engineering, and environmental studies? Three things are related to environment, but the core difference, what is the difference between science, engineering, and studies? These are mainly focus on the how the environment can be studied by the different group of people. So the aspect of the studies that can be related to these types of environmental studies or environmental systems. Okay. So environmental science is the in-depth study of the scientific studies of the earth, air, water, living organism with what are the impact on environment in details. That is the basic things that are going to studies in environmental science subject. But environmental engineering, they are going to study the application, instant applications or principles of some engineering application in environment to protect or to enhance the quality of life or quality of environment or health, etc. The application part they are going to study in environmental engineering. So the environmental engineer having some engineering field, that is for example if you are going to treat water or industrial wastewater. So if the industrial wastewater is not treated and directly released to water body, then there is a huge amount of pollution polluted the water body. So how this pollutions or how the quality of the water can be restored, that application parts will be studies by the engineering subject, that it comes under environmental engineering to control the pollution or to design the control equipments or design the water treatment plant, industrial effluent treatment plant, or any construction sites, how this industry can be minimal impact for our development and growth. All these things are studied by the engineering subject. So environmental studies, this is the minimum subject, or this is the just fundamental subject, the introduction to environment, that can be studied by all every aspect of the peoples, where every branch other medical or law or any art, science or commerce, any everywhere, pure engineering, these are the simple subjects for just awareness about the environment. It's called environmental studies. So importance and scope of the environment, that is general things are there. Environmental studies is a multidisciplinary subject because every subjects are gather in to form an environmental science subject. And this is a information through which studies various discipline gives the holistic view of environment is sustaining the earth, how the earth can be related to sustain with the environment. So the impact or the importance of the environmental science that are we are using in our daily life, so that can be studies in the, that is the importance, because we do not know what is the importance, we do not know what is the scope, then this is a very much crucial factor for our life expectancy or life quality of life. If you are using something without knowing the consequences and or advantages or disadvantages, that may be a great disadvantage, or that may be hamper our quality of life. So all these things are the important for us to save clean drinking water, hygienic conditions, all the things, free fresh air, good quality of soil, and getting good quality of food. And lastly, and this is called sustainable development. Nowadays the idea of sustainable development is mostly every country of the world, they are talking about the sustainable development. Have you heard about the word sustainable development goals, SDG? There are 17 SDG are designed by UNO, and which is having target of 2030. So this is called a 2030 agenda also. In order to achieve these all sustainable development goals, we cannot be do it simply by just knowing these things. We have to have implement all the things. So in order to implement this sustainable development in our actual practices, this is very much difficult task. No one can 100% say that this we are using some product or you are using some things which do not impact our environment, which do not cause any things or it having, it is a purely a green thing. The green thing means it is not a hamper to the environment and does not also hamper to the development. So without hampering this development and this environment, thus this type of development is called sustainable development. So these are the basic things by which we can know by study the environmental science, or this is the importance. Then scope are, there are different very broad area, because environment wherever you are go, there will be a little means relationship between the environment everywhere. So in order to get uh, this scope of this environmental science, we will also explore this about different natural resources. And natural resources itself is a big chapters. It is having also a different types of variety, renewable, non-renewable, then different sources, mineral of forest resources, soil resources, energy resources, different types. It is a different topic. So these resources, how it can be utilized, and how these resources depletions impact to the environment, and how this can be managed, the management part, all these things are the main scope of the environmental science. Because without knowing this subject, we cannot go in deep in details. Obviously how this for example, let's say metal extraction of metal, that is iron metal from the ore. This extraction of iron metal from metal or hematite, bauxite, hematite or magnetite, these processes is not the scope under this environmental science, but this is a different metallurgy section. But after these extractions of the, how the resources are used and what are the byproducts, how can be managed, this is related to the environmental science. And without knowing this subject, we cannot go to extract the resources also. So next is ecology, ecosystem, biodiversity. These three things, ecology, ecosystem and biodiversity, these are also very much important for our and to know what is the relationship between environment and the living things, not humans, the living things in our or earth. That is the systems that the whole system is studied by this ecology and ecosystems. And biodiversity, what is biodiversity? It is nothing but the variety of species, and what is the impact and what is the importance of this variety of species found in a particular area. That is also a great parts of our study of the environmental science. Because if you find somewhere only single species cannot be exist, if there is no variety, if the variety of species, biodiversity, that means ultimately biodiversity is less, then that type of systems cannot be sustained more. If the biodiversity is more, that means there the balance of the nature is more. So importance of biodiversity, all these things, these are in different chapters we are going to study in details. Then environmental pollution and control. This environmental pollution and control, this is actually a technical part which we are going to study what are the pollution control equipment, how this control equipment are designed to control how much amount of the either water or solid gases or solid substance to give the minimal impact to the environment. That equipment or design, all the things are going to study in environmental pollution control. There's a separate chapter we are going to study that in semester 2 perhaps. And pollutions, human population and environment, these are also a separate subject. Human populations, how it can be affect the environment, is the uncontrolled growth of human, or on this how these resources are utilized according to the human populations. So the study of the human population, this is called as a demography. And the demography and the environment, this is a very crucial relationship between this demographic and environment. If you have studied in BSc, like some S corp, some J corp, these are the different K index, these are the different things we can be comes under the scope of environmental science. Then social issues or environmental issues related to development, because we are under continuously development. Without development we cannot cope with the other countries. So India is a developing country. So developing country means we are going to utilize our resources to product, form a new product, and these resources and the product formations that implies the development is going on. For example, making up huge industry or some industrializations is also part of this development. But what are the consequences of this development? What are the issues related to development? For example, if you are building a dam to making a dam, what are the issues which can be, or what are the advantages which are be mostly useful for the people? Also there are some consequences for making a dam or constructing a dam. So we have to know all the things, issues, as well as these consequences or the advantages related to environment factor. So these are all comes under environmental studies or environmental science scope of this science, environmental science. So these all are, this is just some little parts of the scopes. There are all very much broad topic, because environmental science is a broad topic. For example, you are entering a medical field, for example in a hospital, how the hospital is managed, how the hospital waste can be managed, and how it can be degraded or how it can be disposed. This comes under a separate field that is called hospital waste management systems or biomedical waste management systems. There is a different chapter, fully a broad topic. For example, municipal solid waste, this solid waste how it can be managed everywhere, there is a different topic, different broad subjects. Again, these are comes under environmental studies or scope of this environmental science, because we are going to know what are the benefits and what are the issues which can be, how it can be handled. For example, if you are taking one more example, if you are going to means harvest something, or as India is an agricultural country, we are going to we are making some agriculture, we are cultivating some rice or wheat. And even if we do not means have not expect that cultivation also impacts on the environment. Nowadays how does agriculture and this agriculture impact of agriculture environment, this is also a huge topic nowadays, because the agriculture or agricultural practices which can generate different types of issues related to agriculture. For example, we are giving huge amount of pesticides, huge amount of fertilizers for our increase the production or yield of this agricultural product. So that also create, or that also issues create issues, different issues related to human health as well as environmental health. both are also comes under scope of the environmental science. So this is a limitless course, but there are various scopes are there which can be comes under this environmental science subject. And obviously this is the common things. Environment is divided the frame what's called environor. If you do not if we are talking about environment but this environment what is a French word, originally a French word, and that is environor. And the biological and non-biological things surrounding are included in the environment, because we cannot talking about only our own thing, everything surrounded this called environment. And environmental can be also defined as surrounding and conditions which directly indirectly affect the living organisms. Here, see, in these definitions there is a hidden term that is called, we already know that environment is what is the surrounding we found everything, that is called environment, that can impact our life or impact our things. Because not only the surrounding things but the surrounding conditions, the word conditions, the surrounding conditions, that is also comes under environment. Conditions that is vary at various times. So what is the conditions? Let's discuss about this today's or yesterday's condition. What is the conditions in Vadodara? There is a flood, or there is a rain, huge rain which can impact thousands of peoples in the Vadodara city. So this effect, how this rain affects these humans, that is a particular situations or conditions, flood conditions or some drought conditions are there. If the temperature is high, and high temperature, what is the things? So these are the different conditions. This comes under acid rains, global warming, greenhouse effect. So these are also a part of this environmental studies. So this can be also defined as the how this water, air, land, and their relationship. There are different types of definitions given by the different things. So you cannot do not have to remember what is the definition, because it is the preliminary thing. Then just revise this summary how this environment, what the parts of the environment. The environment has two parts, that is a biotic, abiotic. This may be a questions for you, but very easy. This is biotic is the all living organisms, meaning flora, fauna, birds, organ, microorganisms, everything comes under biotic. And abiotic, it having non-living components such as light, soil, air, temperature, humidity, everything that comes under abiotic component. Then categories of environment, obviously we have having two types, that is artificial environment and natural environment, or natural environment and man-made environment. Because let's see what is natural environment. The environment gifted by God, operated by the self-regulation mechanisms, that is created itself in the nature, that is called natural environment obviously. And the natural environment comprising of four spheres, we already discussed these things. Biosphere, space occupied by the life. Atmosphere, that is space occupied by the air. Lithosphere, space occupied by the solid. Hydrosphere, space occupied by the water. So these all are comes under this natural environmental parts. So let's come to man-made environment. We are living not in a forest, we are living in a buildings, in a flats, or in a society. These things are created by man, not nature. So all everything that is surrounded or that is created by humans, that is called man-made environment. That is dam, canals, roads, vehicles, industry, buildings, everything that can be man-made, that is called and human environment or man-made environment or artificial environment. So these are so anyone can say uh, what is the limit of this atmosphere? What is the limit of atmosphere that we can uh, that can be greatly affect our environment? So are you listening?
Yes, 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 sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
we already discussed the environment having or natural environment having four parts, that is called hydrosphere, lithosphere, biosphere, and atmosphere. So next thing is, what is the limit? What is the limit of hydrosphere? What is the limit of atmosphere? That means up to where the atmosphere is present in our Earth. Can anyone say? Not only atmosphere, you can also say about the hydrosphere, means water, where the water can be found in atmosphere or in our environment. That is the part of our environment. We already discussed that atmosphere there are four layers: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermospheres. So can you expect that the thermosphere parts or these mesosphere parts, that is the part of our environment, because no life is in the upper layer of atmosphere. So are you thinking that this mesosphere part, that or thermosphere part, that is the above the full above our atmosphere, above layer of atmosphere, are these the part of our environment or not? Can anyone give answer?
Thermosphere is where the satellites are found, right?
Yes,
Thermos.
yes, obviously. uh, After
Okay, so
above 85 kilometers, that is called mesosphere.
sir, maybe the exosphere is the highest limit of the atmosphere.
And obviously, actually atmosphere is four parts. First is troposphere, then stratosphere, then mesosphere, then thermosphere. After thermosphere, the fifth part, which can call as exosphere. But exosphere, there is no limit, or that is the outer layer, who is the air is actually very thin and about absence near to space. So in our study of the environment science, we are excluding the part exosphere. So upper layer is, I am calling the thermosphere. So thermosphere is above 85 kilometers. So do you think that, my question is, I have already said that the atmosphere is the part of our environmental science, or there is one part. So do you think that this thermosphere is a part where the living things are directly, indirectly dependent on the thermosphere? Have you any ideas? Thermosphere, or let's say below layer, that is called mesosphere. I am want to say that is the thermosphere or mesosphere, because no life form is present above 80 kilometers of our atmosphere. But we are saying that this is a part of the environment, our environment. So how? Because it is not related to our any life form. So how it is related to that is environment? Can anyone explain? That means indirectly I want to say what is the importance of that things. If some things is do not having importance or do not related to our life form in the present earth, that is not part of our environment. So why we are going to study this thermosphere or mesosphere? Because it is not directly present any organisms or any living form in that there. Okay, if we do not have any idea, we are going to discuss in another day, because everything presents in our earth having its own importance. I already discussed these things in our, let's say, first class, somewhere someone are present there. But what is the importance of this layer? Because uh, these cosmic rays are coming from, and they are prevent by entering the earth. The ultraviolet rays are coming from the sun, prevent by entering the air. Certain layers are there. So these are indirectly related to save the life form or organisms. So we have to study these things also in our, or that also comes under our environmental science subject. So we have to study the importance of all these things. Okay, let's forget these things. So let's again revise these things from a different sources. Obviously, this environment term is derived from the French word. This is called environner, and the biologist Jacob von Urkel introduced the term environment. If this is a one single questions, one mark questions maybe comes in your exam, or that may either in comes in the net exam, that is for any competitive exam. That is the name environment is coined by the scientist. That is Jacob von Urkel, that is the introduced the term environment in ecology, and the environment is a French word. This is just a, you have to remember these things, small things. Then uh, ecology is the study of the interaction between organisms and the kinds of environment, obviously, and it is given by the Environment Protection Act 1986. So what is the Environment Protection Act 1986? Have you any idea? Because all you are MSc students. What is the Environment Protection Act 1986? Arpita, can you say? No. Okay. Any other one? Naren?
I think Environmental Protection Act is a
Hmm.
policy laws and that regulate the environment in terms of soil, water, that protect the soil, water, air, and the other environmental parameters.
Yes, because it itself saying that environment protection. Protection means formulating some policy or law which having some limits, exhibit some limit to giving the or restrict the extra pollutions by these human activities. So these protection acts that protect our environment, and that is comes in 1986. This is called Environmental Protection Act. So this Environmental Protections Act, when it comes, actually at that time the relationship between the organisms or this life form to the environment, this particular aspect is highlighted. Because why? Relationship does not mean that we are going to take advantages from this environment only. In back we are harming this environment, and which is indirectly harming ourselves. We are not we are polluting environment day by day. We are polluting environment in uncontrolled way, and explore the environment in an uncontrolled way. That are not only we are harming the environment, we are harming ourselves. So these things are highlighted in this Environmental Protection Acts, and that is a relationship between all the things. The study also sources interaction effects on the air, all the things. And environmental science is it is already we are discussed. The word environment derived from the French word environment. Okay, it is also discussed. Then according to wording a person environment consisting, this is the definition of environment. We are already discussed this. Ecology is the science, the study of relationship between the living things and environment, which is considered to be a disciplinary of biology. See, ecology and environmental science both are different things. Environmental science is a systematic scientific study of the environment. See, if you are going to study about what is air, what is water, how heat is produced and heat is effect to how wind is blown, how weather is formed. If this kind of study is going to be you have to study, then this scientific information and systemic information comes under environmental science, not ecology. But ecology is that how these living things impact to the environment. For example, if you are studying the behavior of tiger or behavior of human, or what is the impact of this forest or tree to the other organisms, or to the heat or to the weather conditions, like that, this relation. So this type of study is called ecology. So we do not confuse about the term ecology and environmental science. Then environmental studies, that means it is a broader area, and it is a lesser word that is commonly used, that is some gathering some awareness giving to the every people of the world, that is called environmental studies, that are already discussed, that four segments. What are those? atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere and biosphere. Here it will give details what is atmosphere. Atmosphere are the protective layer that is 100 kilometers thick around the earth. Obviously we are studying details that up to 11 kilometer troposphere, up to 58 to 48 kilometers that is stratosphere, 8 to 85 kilometers that is mesosphere, and above 400 kilometers that is thermosphere. So these are different layers, or itself atmosphere is the different broad subject. We have to study that one. A blanket of gases called atmosphere surrounded the earth's surface, preventing sun's harmful ultraviolet rays, as well as different types of things. That is also regulate temperature, preventing earth from too hot, too cold. It is hostile and this outer space. Atmosphere is consisting of nitrogen, oxygen, argon. This is the different system that can be included in atmosphere. Likewise, hydrosphere, it also consisting of all water that present in our environment or in our earth, that is consisting of hydrosphere. It's maybe ocean, maybe lakes, rivers, reservoirs, any groundwater resources, everything. Ocean having 97% of the water, and 2% of water are locked in polar ice cap, and only 1% water is available for the fresh water in river or lakes. So these are the some statistics of hydrosphere where you can find water. Then third is the lithosphere. Lithosphere is the outer mantle of the earth surface. Do not think that everything are comes under lithosphere, because our earth under earth ground that having some internal core and some mantle or lava are present, but that is not the lithosphere. Lithosphere is only the part that is the outer mantle, means the inner outer core or outer mantle part where the upper surface of the earth, that is lithosphere, where you can find air, water and life form, that is organisms, or you can grow the, we are living here, and where it can found a mineral consisting of different soil, organic matter and water well. So this soil science is a separate subject. Hydro science or hydrosphere is a different subject fully. We are going to study all details about this water and the soil. Then biosphere, obviously it indicates the living organisms. So biosphere are where it is found everywhere, because wherever life found, that is biosphere. So animals, organisms, everything, the all you can find, that is the comes under biosphere. uh, Obviously we are again deals the elements of environment. There are two types of elements, that is called biotic part, abiotic part. Biotic means living things, abiotic means non-living things. And these elements are again physical elements, biological elements and cultural elements. So what are physical elements? Physical elements are space, landform, water body, climate, soil, rock, minerals having some different forms are variable character of human habitat, opportunity and limitations. These are physical elements. Biological elements are plants, animal, microorganisms, and obviously it is a biosphere. And because it's physical and biological, there is a third component that is called cultural element. Cultural elements are such as economical and social, political elements of man-made features which make cultural background. So this is a third elements which can be introduced after this physical and biological. Physical elements means it is the abiotic part, biological elements are biotic part, and the cultural elements are the how these different things of man-made features are related to the social, political and cultural background. So how they are related, so this comes under cultural elements. Obviously it is a multidisciplinary nature and subject of different felt with holistic approaches. Obviously we do not go in details. See, it is a environmental studies deals with all of everything, that is biology, botany, zoology, soil science, technology, oceanography, study of the oceans, atmospheric science, economics, sociology, anthropology. What is anthropology? Effect of man-made. What is the impact of humans on this environment? That is called anthropology. So all these things are interrelated. So every subjects you have to study some portions to consisting of this environmental science. And this scope of the environmental studies we already discussed. There are various scopes we cannot listed in a particular points of this scopes, but everything we have to know to giving from giving awareness to from the environment to exploring the natural resources to some different evolutions programs and the cultural indicate program or natural resources, everything comes under these scopes of the environment, whatever you may think. Then importance, obviously environmental issues are global issues. We have to know all the things. What is environmental issue like global warming, depletions, ozone depletions, acid rain, marine pollutions, biodiversity. All these things are we have to uh, issues are highlighted nowadays, and these are to know every issues we have to know the study of to environmental science. So development and the environment, this is the term where we can now already discuss that sustainable development is the term nowadays. It is very much hot topic, but about this sustainable just development of the environment leads to different kinds of the things, that is urbanization to industrializations, everything, agriculture practices. How do the effect, how this development of this can be impact to our environment? Explosive increase in pollutions, this is also very huge impact done by these man-made practices. We are just utilizes the resources and having leaving a huge amount of pollutions in our environment. So what are the pollutions, how can be controlled, and how we can be safe from these pollutions? All the things are comes from this environmental pollution. Need for the alternative solutions, so essentially developing countries having different paths to alternative goals, that is true goal for development, environmental policy, common goals for another planet, this will be so common things. Need of wise planning of the development, that is the how these environmental resources can be utilized in a sustainable way to having its do not harm to the environment, as well as we are do not compromise our development process. If you are do not increase the resources, utilization of resources, if you are going to do not having industry, then how you can develop? So by developing some kind, we are going to compromise with the environment, and we are going to harm the environment. So the need for this thing, how we are progress in our development as well as progress in our environmental health also. That's why need of public awareness is very much necessary. So there are different we are going to this study details how this public awareness we can be, what is environmental educations. So these populations, poverty allegations, these are the different challenges. It is necessary to the various environmental challenges are man-made eco-friendly, and the major challenges are here. What are the major environmental challenges? First and major environmental challenges, populations. It is the populations rise or growth of populations. That is, if population growth occurs, then the demand of the food resources, energy resources, or everything is going to be increases. So this is a very great challenges for this environment. Second is poverty alleviations, that is India often describes the rich and poor people, because if we do not have sufficient amount of or wealth uh, for the development and the livelihood, then how you can think about the uh, environment? If you are hungry, or if you are do not having proper food, proper energy, or proper economy, then you are fast, your mind, you are just thinking about how to fulfill your wishes and how to fulfill your stomach. Then how you can be think out of the box? So this thing is the main challenges for the developing country and underdeveloped country. So we are cannot think about the environment degradations without fulfilling our needs. So that is the major challenges for this environmental health. Then agricultural growth, I already discussed that agricultural growth agriculture is also one of the major challenges nowadays, because the population growth, we need a huge amount of food, grain or food resources to meet the demand of the all these things. So if we are increasing the food utilizations or the food productions, then because land resources is limited, we cannot increase our land resources. Water resources are also very limited, because fresh water is limited 1% in our. So using the limited resources, how we can increase the agricultural growth, agricultural productions? That's why fertilizers and pesticides are using very high quantity. So that consequences, and this causes pollutions. These also major challenges. Then groundwater pollutions, or commonly say water pollutions, whether it is surface water or groundwater pollutions are occurring. These are comes under major challenges of the environment. Then development of forest, deforestation is the major challenges. We are going to cut the forest and making our necessary things lands, and we are do not bother about environment. So we have to also think about the forest, what is the role of the forest to the environment. So this is also comes under major challenges. Then degradation of land, unused land, due to the pollutions, the soil pollution, those land fertility will be decreased, and it can be degraded. So this also a major challenges nowadays. Then reductions of genetic diversity. What is biodiversity? It is the different variety of species that can be found in a particular area. So diversity, again, three kinds of diversity. uh, who can say what are the three types of diversity? What are the three types of diversity? Albert, are you listening? Arpita?
Yes, sir.
Yes, what are the three kinds of biodiversity, types of biodiversity? Have you any idea? No idea? Okay. There are three types of biodiversity: species diversity, ecosystem diversity, and genetic diversity. This species diversity is the simplest form of diversity or biodiversity, the variety of species. For examples, there are different variety of species are found in a particular area. Let's say for animals, dog, horse, cat, human, rat, mosquitoes, various kinds of species are found in a particular area. So this is called species diversity. Ecosystem diversity: in a particular area you find different types of ecosystems, that is land ecosystem, forest ecosystem. You can also find aquarium, this is also small ecosystems, or in your habitats, that is a ecosystem diversity. Then genetic diversity: genetic diversity is the diversity where within the species you can find some variety. Have you see a same personality like you in the world? No, you cannot find, because you are unique. Obviously we are humans, but every human being having own uniqueness. This is called the genetic diversity. Similar, no second is nothing here, only everyone is unique. So this type of diversity in gene, a particular species is called genetic diversity. So these type of diversity are going to be reduced nowadays for different species. So these are called also challenges. The evil consequences of urbanizations, urbanization, industrializations. We are forced to do that. We are forced to move from village area to urban area. So this urbanizations, how these urbanizations can be impact to the environment, that is also a great uh, challenges or major issues of the environment. So industrialization, urbanizations, so if you are going to develop your country, then you have to progress in different industry or making some industries and moving or controlling or some resources to some products, so that is very much necessary. But it's having its own impact on environment. If you are do not think or do not control the impact or do not control these consequences, then it is a very huge hazardous things for our environment or our society. So that is also a major environmental challenges. Next environmental challenges, air and water pollutions. Obviously the water pollutions, air pollutions, by knowingly unknowingly, this the due to the industrialization, due to the urbanizations, everything we are going to make or we are pollute our environment. And that is also a major challenges how to control these pollutions nowadays. So this is also major challenges for this environment. So everything are comes under environmental science or scope of environmental science, whether it is a development part, whether it is a challenges part, or whether to the awareness part, everything. So this is all about this environmental introduction to environment. That is the different multidisciplinary nature of environment or elements of environment, then different issues of environment, environmental issues, importance of environment, then scopes of environment, and the major issues of environment. Why or what is the need of the public awareness, populations, property allocation, these are major issues. So these are going to discuss in our subsequent classes in details what are these issues and how this education's awareness, how these are going to affect our environment and how we can control these things. So for today, this is much. If you have any doubts or anything, then you can ask.
Hello, sir. Can
Yes,
you
yes,
about the types of diversity?
yes,
We have ecosystem diversity,
yes.
genetic, and what's the other one?
Species diversity.
Species one.
Come again?
Species diversity.
Species diversity.
Okay, thank you.
First is species diversity, not ecosystem. First diversity is simple diversity, that is called species diversity. That is the different variety of species found in a place. Second is ecosystem diversity. That are different types of ecosystem are found in a particular area. And third is the genetic diversity. That is the diversity within a particular species. That is uniqueness. That is called genetic diversity, or variety of gene in a particular species. In a by ecosystem and diversity, there is a separate chapter, perhaps in your sem 2 or sem 1, I don't know. uh, we are going to study in details how this biodiversity and environment, there is a separate unit for that. Any other questions?
So can you please elaborate about sustainable development?
Okay. Sustainable development comes from the two terms, that is sustainable and development. Let's discuss the term development. So development terms is related to the economy of the country or economy of the human or economy of the peoples. So development means we are going to develop our energy, develop our economy, develop our health, or every standards, or develop our life expectancy or quality of life. For that, we are going to utilize the resources in our environment, everything, whether it is energy, whether it is mineral, whether it is food, or anything that we need, that comes from the environment itself or by nature itself. So we are going to capture or we are going to explore or that resources from the environment and utilize those things for our development purpose. But for this, we are neglecting the environment. We are neglecting the consequences for the utilization of the resources on the conditional way. So this is creates environmental problem. So by seeing these things, UNO, United Nations organizations, have some fundamental idea or this idea of sustainable development. They add the word sustainable towards before the word development. Sustainable developments, the definition is you have to develop or you have to utilize the resources with minimal impact of the environment. With you are going to utilize the resources without compromising the needs of your future generations, because resources are limited. So we are utilizing, without utilizing resources we cannot live. So by using the resources we also leave some resources for our future generations, after your generations and your child and their child. So if you are utilizing resources very much, then our next generation, they are not getting this thing. So without on that means without harming, or we cannot say without harming, without or minimal impact giving to the environment, leaving some resources for the future generations, that development is called sustainable development. You have to also, there is a separate chapter, sustainable development, you can also explore that thing. So there is another class at 3:30 for some. So you have to join also that time, and you have to discuss more what is all the things in that next 3:30 p.m. Okay. So see you at 3:30. You can join in your next class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.